Okay, welcome to Dynamite Delight. Before I get started, I want to say that I'm going to be doing a debate of the week after this video, so I don't know if it'll be uploaded after this or tomorrow, so watch for it. I will record it right after this. My thoughts on the state of wrestling in 2020. I've been kind of avoiding it because I've heard a whole bunch of people talk about it, and I didn't want to get caught up in it. But because the ratings are so bad and people are making statements, whether good or bad, I have to say something. So I will be talking about it. But how was Dynamite Delight? AEW Dynamite was good. We got a returning JR. We got Taz being utilized finally. We had some good matches and a bit of a cliffhanger. Let's move on to the beginning of the show. In Jacksonville, Florida, we know that it's a live show, supposedly live. And we had not only Jake Roberts, who had to wear a mask, we also had just JRs there. Now, I don't know if that was the wisest thing to do for both of them, but they chose to be there with larger amounts of members of the AEW staff in Jacksonville. The amount of people in Jacksonville was a little bit larger than what they had in the other place they were working at. So it really helped a lot to hear people cheer a lot louder with more people. So as for me personally, this is still not a very good situation, but at least it's a more tolerable one because at least compared to Impact Wrestling, definitely compared to WWE, we actually had people there cheering and booing, and it felt better than what we normally would have. Cody versus Joey Janela. Now, look, even with Joey growing a beard out and a mustache out, he still feels the same way. He's not a hardcore wrestler. He is a Shawn Michaels wannabe. Now, if I'm wrong, you guys tell me why I'm wrong. Because he gives off the feeling of a Shawn Michaels wannabe. He acts like someone who's a Shawn Michaels wannabe. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. But it is bad when you don't play into it. And that's what I'm getting with Joey Janela. And was the match good? It was okay. I had no problem with the match. It was what it was. In the end, I didn't expect Cody the job here. And he did. He won. So they're still building up into Double or Nothing for the TNT tournament. Let's move on. MJF had a segment before he was seen. He was seen at the match. But he also had a segment saying, I will be coming back to... I am going to be wrestling next week. And all of the older generation wrestlers are all angry at me saying that, you're good, but you're no Bret Hart. You're no Rock. You're no Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're no nothing. But he says, of course I'm not, because I'm better than them. His segment was actually quite good. I did enjoy it a lot. MJF is just a good talker. And he's a good wrestler. And I can't wait to see how well he expands himself. I just hope he doesn't go to the WWE and act stupid. He can go to Impact Wrestling and he'd probably get over pretty well over there. But when it comes to WWE, if anyone is saying, I want to see MJF in WWE, if you are wanting him there, you want him to be buried like EC3. You want him to be buried like Austin Aries. You want him to be buried like every other wrestler who's gone there and Vince didn't give a damn about. So more power to you if that's what you want. And if MJF does it, I think he's a freaking idiot. That's just me. You guys tell me below. We had a video package for the women. It was nice. Nia Rose is finally there, which is nice. Before the match happened between Nia Rose and, who is the woman? Paige. I can't remember her first name. She came out. Tony Giovanni tried to talk to her and she bitch slapped his ass verbally. She told him, not in all these words, but she said, "You're saying that, how long am I going to last? Who you talking to? Shut the F up and go do your job while I do mine. I am the best." Not in those words and not in that arrangement. But that is what basically happened. She came out, she bitch slapped Giovanni verbally, and pretty much went into the ring and destroyed Paige. Flat out. It's an 18-year-old girl who's just starting in the business, and she got destroyed by a Nia Rose. Now we have Britt Baker at ringside. We had Sheeta at ringside. I believe there was Statlander there as well. And it really fit. Once she won, she's looking at the women who she rules over. So, even though, let's be honest here, Nia Rose is still not really great as a wrestler. She's getting much better talking because now they're actually letting her talk. I do believe that she will improve. She isn't the type that looks like that she stays stagnant, and she does try to at least make herself look better. But I will say, at least compared to the women in WWE, it is a better circumstance. That's just me. You guys tell me below. We had Taz have a moment with Darby Allin. He's saying, "Hey, what happened last week was pretty bad, but you know what? I can help you. Look, I saw what happened last week. Why don't you let me help you? I can really give you something." And he is holding the mic in his hand, and pretty much you got Darby Allin shoving it away out of frustration. This is a good thing. If they're actually going to allow Taz to be a manager, because yes, he works on AEW Dark. He works with Excalibur. And since I don't watch AEW Dark, I'm sure he does a very good job because he's a better color commentator than Excalibur is. Let's be honest here. I don't hate Excalibur, but as a color commentator, he's not. Taz is a better one. He just is. So seeing him become a manager for a Darby Allin, which I really wish it was Mick Foley, because I truly believe Mick Foley would be a better fit for him than Taz. But Taz being from ECW, as someone who has been through some of the most strongest storylines with the most craziest matches you can think of, he's second line choice, no problem. Not because he sucks. It's because he's working at the company and Mick Foley is not. And if you had to have someone that is there who easily is on par with Mick Foley, because he is, Taz and Mick Foley are on par with each other. There's no lie. The only difference is that Mick Foley was built much more heavier than you had in WWE compared to ECW. It's the truth. The only difference is that Taz's company was not as great as WWE's was. This is what you got. So it is a good thing. Now, we had Kazarian versus Moxley, which I thought was the best match of the night. For me personally, it was the best freaking match of the night. Seeing Kazarian, who always liked Kaz, always did, when he was in Impact Wrestling, working with Christopher Daniels, and when they were, Bad Attitude, I believe that was the name of them. I loved that gimmick. No, not Bad Attitude, Bad Influence. That, and the music for it was just beautiful. Unfortunately, I can't play it because it'll probably be copyright claimed. But I always loved Bad Influence. I always loved Kaz and always loved Christopher Daniels. And I always thought Kaz was a great wrestler. And you see it here. He's been working over 20 years in the business. And it shows. And I wouldn't mind seeing Moxley face Kaz again. I didn't expect Moxley to lose here. There was no way. But it was still a great match. But then Dark Order comes out, and then Brody Lee comes out, and he does three things. One, he lets his Dark Order beat the crap out of SCU and the Moxley. Second, he cuts a very good promo saying simply, Moxley, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen you. But when you know me now, I am not that same person you knew so long ago in another place far, far away. It's not like that. This is just what I'm saying. And then he states, you have something I want. Evil Uno said, there's something here I would want, and I see it, and I covet it. I want the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and you will give me a match, or I will make life a living hell for you. And then Moxley spitting after getting his butt kicked, which was actually a good thing. He actually spits on the ring apron. I know not many people would like that, because that is, in wrestling, a bit of a disrespectful thing, unless in this situation is part of character and storyline. He says simply, all you had to do was ask me. And then Dark Order beats him up again, and then Brody Lee takes the AEW title and walks away with it. This is what makes a lot of sense. Brody Lee wants to be considered champion. He wants to gain that title, so now he's gotten Moxley to do it. And now that he's holding the title, no matter what happens, even if he loses, as long as he has 7 members of the Dark Order, including Evil Uno, he can still keep the title, even if he loses the title, which is going to be a question, will he lose the title? Now, I did say this weeks ago, where is Brody Lee going? Is he going to go for the TNT title, or is he going to the world title? I didn't know which one. Now we know. Now, I am going to the last match of the night, because you guys know I'm going to be talking about. The last match of the night, you had Sammy Guevara and Bubbly Y2J versus Kenny Omega, and the first debuting of Matt Hardy. Matt looked good. The guy kept himself in great shape in WWE. Well, he wasn't in 100% great shape in WWE, but he got himself in great shape in WWE. And then when he left, he continued staying in good shape. And you see him, he looks like he did almost 15 years ago. And I'll say this, it wasn't a bad match. Unfortunately, I did not see the ending because the stream just cut off. But when I finally got a stream back, I saw pretty much the inner circle was over everybody. So my guess is they won that match, because Santana Ortiz was there along with Hager. Now, Pineapple Pete got into an altercation with Y2J just before the match started. He punched him. So I did hear that next week, Pineapple Pete is going up against Y2J, which, what? This is going to be interesting. Doesn't mean it's going to be an incredible match, but it's going to be interesting about Pineapple Pete versus Y2J. I didn't mind the match. I didn't mind the street fight. The only thing is I didn't see the last parts of it because the stream dropped. So I don't know when Santana Ortiz came out. But at least you saw Matt Hardy have his moment, because he got into a ladder. He basically destroyed Guevara into the table. I was fine with that. I just wish I could have saw the ending. And finally, 2 things I'm going to talk about. Snake me, baby. That's what I'm going to call this video, because Jake Roberts was there with QT Marshall versus Lance Archer. Now, before that happened, you had pretty much Brandi having a video pretty much saying, I don't take crap from nobody. I don't care who you are, Jake. This in 1991, which I was 20 years old at the time. Oh my gosh, that was so long ago. Woo, my goodness, was I a different person back then. But she says, this is in 1991. I'm not Miss Elizabeth. I'm not the damsel in distress. You smack me, I'm going to whoop your ass. My mama told me, don't take shit from nobody. I'm not going to take anything from nobody, not even you. Don't talk about me on social media, or I'm going to smack your ass. And she didn't say it in those words, but that's what she was relaying. So we had the match. It was mainly one-sided, which was fine. Seeing that Jake Roberts was at ringside, fine. He did have a black mask, which made sense with his character. In the end, next to Britt Baker getting, well, QT Marshall was thrown out of the ring. And Britt Baker took her shoe off again and whacked him in the face. This wasn't the first time that happened. It's the second time she did that. And then Brandi took offense to that and basically hit her. By the time the match was all over, and QT Marshall basically got his ass whooped. He did. He did put up a good fight, but he still got his ass whooped. You got Brandi getting nailed by Britt Baker and then shoved into the ring. And then, I didn't expect this. Jake Roberts comes out with Damien the third, maybe, because it has been many years. Even though snakes can easily live up to 30 years or more. I would say this could be the second or the third Damien. But my guess is the second one, Damien Jr. But I'll say Damien the third because it sounds a lot more regal. And then he plops it on top of her. And then he gets on top of her on top of that, as you see in my face. And just pretty much belittle her while she's out cold from the punch she got from the Britt Baker. This, I think, is going to have a certain kind of controversy. Because I don't believe everyone is going to be comfortable with what happened here. But it makes perfect sense to mess with Brandi because, one, because they were in Jacksonville at that arena where it takes like 10 minutes just to cross one area to another. It makes sense that this is to piss off Cody, to throw him off guard, to throw him off balance, so when they have the Double or Nothing match for the TNT title, it will make the best sense to keep him screwed up. I personally have no problem with this. I know many people in cancel culture will say that this is disgusting. This white man on top of a black woman with a damn snake, he needs to be gotten rid of. Look, this is wrestling. Brandi had to sign off on this. Understand, I repeat this again. For any of these segments to happen in a ring, in a pro wrestling environment, the parties in question have to sign off on it. Unless there's some rare circumstances like when you're leaving the company, like what happened in the Montreal screw job. Brett didn't want to play ball with Vince, so Vince screwed him. In this situation, there was no screwing over. Brandi signed off on this. If you don't know, she had to. There's no way she didn't. She understood what Jake was going to do. She knew that Jake was going to get Damien the third, throw him on or her on top of her, and he was going to be on top of her after that. That had to happen. Because if it didn't, we will be hearing it from Tony Khan apologizing because we didn't know Jake was going to go that far. Which I don't think they're going to because they knew Jake was going to do this. He's very, very careful about the type of things he does in the ring. That's how Jake Roberts was back in the day. That's how he is now. So this was a very good ending of the show for me personally here. Because the street fight was good, even though I missed the ending of it. But this was the ending for me. To see Jake, if they'd done this at the end of the show, this would have been better because this would have had better impact. Now, how do I feel about this show? It was a good show. With a big cliffhanger. What do you think Cody's going to do now that Jake did this to his woman? Whose ass looked pretty nice when she got shoved in there with Britt Baker. Unfortunately, I didn't catch the shot. But still, she had a nice butt. Tell me how you feel. Have a good day. Have a good night. And watch for my video about the state of wrestling in 2020. Peace.